She seems to have recovered from her breakdown. Listen. How are you doing?
I am sad that Isida is gone. I hope these terrors will come to an end soon.
That's why we're looking for the fairy scholar, to prevent worse things from happening. What kind of magic was that you saved us with?
That was the power of the moonlight. It is like fire to the sad fairies. It burns them.
What do you mean, sad fairies?
I felt that they once were just like me.
And now they are sad?
Sure. If fairies lose their command over magic, they don't die but get consumed by darkness instead. Then they're sad and will never be able to laugh again.
To me, they seemed like mean fiends who have Isida's blood on their hands.
They're sad nonetheless. Believe me.
Aha, czyli to są... Czyli te istoty są smutnymi nimfami. Czy dobrze to zrozumiałam? Tak mi się wydaje. Te istoty, które nas atakowały.
Your magic is fatal, even for you, isn't it? You almost got burned by it yourself.
I didn't want you to die.
Thank you, Nuri.
What are we going to do now?
Dbamy o siebie nawzajem. Jak słodko.
Why do those mean fairies serve the seer?
You must have put a spell on them. And please stop talking about this subject. It's making me sad.
We need some gear before we can move on.
That's all right. I can do with a little rest.
Very well. Let's carry on later.
No to teraz porozmawiamy jeszcze z panem Gniewnikiem.
Hail Rondra, Sir Knight. Could you kindly tell us where we are?
This is the Thasch mountain range.
Thasch.
Okay.
So the blood barrier is not far off.
It is but a short distance for a travelling knight. For a farm boy and a maiden, it might prove quite a journey.
I am no farmer.
My maiden, you should seek protection from a proper man in these dangerous surroundings.
What kind of a man?
I am Bogomil Rathling, Knight of Andergast. At your service, fair maiden.
Czemu się tak śmiejesz
I am
ciągle?
Yuri. This is my friend Geron.
Nuri it is. What an extraordinary name.
Najpiękniejsze na świecie. Rycerz w górach Thasch.
What business does a knight of Andergast have in the Thasch mountains?
The king put me in charge of observing the orc tribes of the Blood Barrier.
You have travelled through the blood barrier?
Of course, but now I have to return to Andergast. There has been some unrest amongst the Tolokai. I have to report to King Efferdan immediately.
Did you run into an explorer in the blood barrier, near a red lake?
Red Lake? No, but if he came from the south, he must have been through here.
What kind of big bell is that in the tower?
That's a storm bell. During the Orcan storm, when old Wendelin was still king, it was sounded to warn the lumberjacks in the vicinity of the pilfering hordes. Believe me, my boy, it could wake anyone from their sleep when it was still in working order.
Okay.
What kind of big bell is that in the tower?
That's a storm. During the Believe me.
Po co to się pojawia, skoro jest to samo?
We need some gear. A rope, blankets, provisions, everything that can be of use.
Usually you can get those things from Graham, but the old pighead hides in his house and doesn't make a sound. I wouldn't trust that cutthroat anyway. Do you hear that, Graham? You are a cutthroat.
Okej, chyba mają na pieńku między sobą.
Why does this Graham hide anyway?
The stupid ox won't admit that I am right.
Right?
Right. He refuses to pay the dues he owes me.
What dues?
He's responsible for the death of my horse. Gave him spoiled fodder, so he died miserably. I'm in a hurry,
Jezu.
but by foot alone I won't get far.
Tak, możemy sprzedać mu ten wóz, który mamy.
Why don't you buy this horse and carriage from us?
What use is a carney's trailer to me? But you can leave me your hack. What are you asking for it?
I'm not really sure.
Make up your mind about the price. Then I'll tell you mine.
Nie wiem, powie to samo?
Why don't you buy this horse and...
What use is but you can... What are you up?
I'm not...
Make up your... They're not.
No nie możesz wymyślić ceny, Geron.
Rondra be with you, Sir Knight.
And with you.
A tu jak pójdę?
When will we move on?
I don't have the slightest idea where this Red Lake is. Besides, without any proper gear, we won't last 2 days in the Blood Barrier.
Okej. Dobra, spróbujmy naprawić ten mechanizm, chociaż nie mamy korby, ale może coś nam się uda tu zdziałać. Może pałeczka?
That's much too frail to use as a crank.
Mhm. A to?
Fits exactly.
Dzwoneczki. No to pokręć. Może obudzisz Grama.
Fire!
O, jest.
The orcs are attacking!
No nie
What are
zupełnie.
you lot still doing here? Scram before the black furs get here.
Seems like you've been fooled, Sir Dwarf. The boy has sounded the bell. There are no orcs attacking.
What? What's going on in your wooden head, boy? Sounds the alarm without good cause and forces an honest dwarf out of his warm and comfy chair. I can't believe it.
I just wanted to... You didn't answer the door, sir.
Well, forget it. But you can cut out the formal hogwash while we're at it. Who are you, anyway?
I am Geron of Andergast.
From Andergast? Just like this one there? Very well, then. My name is Gram, Grandoline's son. And this is Gram's open house.
Open house? Pfft.
What do you want, Geron of Andergast?
Tak, potrzebujemy różnych rzeczy, sprawunków. Spór rycerza, mędrzec.
We need
upgrade.
gear and provisions for our journey. That means a good length of rope, blankets, water...
Very well. That'll be 1 ducat, please.
What? That's much too expensive.
By Fex and Angrosh, what did you expect? Do you think this stuff grows under the rocks around here? Too expensive? I can't believe it.
But...
You can ask again as soon as you have some money.
No cóż. Możemy zaoferować konie i wóz.
I'll sell you the horse and the trailer.
Nah, don't bother. I don't care much for hacks and what they drag around with them.
Szkoda. Ale za to wiemy przynajmniej za ile sprzedać naszego konia rycerzowi.
What kind of argument do you and the knight have anyway?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The knight says you poisoned his horse.
Why, that's what he did.
Shut your face, Rathling.
Bah!
Okej. Dolegaj.
So the knight is lying.
Listen, human. I don't think this is any of your business, so...
Ale to interesujące.
All right.
Chętnie bym się dowiedziała.
We're looking for a wise man who is said to be in the Blood Barrier at the moment, near a red lake.
One of those weirdos, eh? I remember one of them coming through here. Wanted to buy all sorts of stuff from me. Lots of obscure rubbish.
Do you know exactly where I can find him?
Yes. I'll tell you if you can offer me something in exchange. You rub my back, I rub yours, understand?
There you have it, my boy. The dwarf is a cutthroat.
Will you bugger off and take care of your swine?
Czyli niestety musimy się wymienić, a jeszcze w dodatku, żeby za rzeczy zapłacić, no to musimy mieć kasę.
Where is the fairy scholar, pray tell?
Do you have anything nice to offer me in exchange? In that case, I have no idea where the chap is.
No ale nie powiedział nam co.
I'll leave you to it then.
Mamy mu dać. Idź, mruczajło. Zobaczmy nasz dziennik. Nic tu nie ma.
What are you staring at? Is something wrong with my beard?
I'm just ever so amazed by its blue shining luster.
In that case, you're forgiven, greatling.
Okej.
A dark blue tincture. Looks unhealthy.
Czyżby to była ta ciecz do zabarwienia brody?
Hey, keep your paws off my Jenner Creek blue shine beard dye. Do you think my beard gets groomed by air and darkness alone?
You'd better leave the stuff to this dandy boy. It's his most beloved possession.
Dobrze, dobrze, no. A możemy jakoś zamienić to z tym?
It may not be beard dye, but the label is similar.
Aha. No ale mamy tylko pałeczkę i pusty flakon. Dobra,
How often have I... Nuri!
This...
na razie porozmawiamy z
Sir
rycerzem.
Knight Rathling.
What is it, my boy?
I tak, zażądamy dukata.
I'll sell you the horse for 1 ducat.
That old nag isn't worth more than half a ducat. And that would be the deal of your life, my boy. So do we have a deal?
No, we need 1 ducat.
Well, my offer still stands.
Do Nuri rzeczy. O co chodzi?
I guess we'll have to move on without any gear, Nuri.
But I thought we couldn't go on without.
To venture into the blood barrier with insufficient means, that would be foolish.
But we don't have any money, and you refuse to give us enough for the horse.
Bah!
Okej. Pomoc dla Nuri. Do Nuri w kropce. Mroczne stworzenie.
If we don't move along soon, the dark creatures will catch up with us.
I didn't think they were very dark. They were mainly sad.
They killed Isidore, and they almost got us too.
I thought they were a little bit like me.
No, I'm sure they weren't.
Ciekawe, to znaczy, że powiedział jej w końcu, że zabiły Izidę, a nie że ona uciekła.
The knight is right. We can't proceed further into the wild with nothing in our bags. I guess we're stranded for now.
No problem. I like it here. Look at these trees over there.
If you feel all right, my girl, everything is just fine. But I can't stand to see fair maidens suffer.
I guess you'll have to look the other way then.
No właśnie. A ona ciągle jest zadowolona i ciągle jest szczęśliwa, zamiast grać taką smutną, wiecie, żeby zapłacił nam tego. Ona nie rozumie tego.
I wonder what your friends at home are doing at the moment.
Why?
Well, they're all alone now, and they surely miss you.
All alone? Miss Greenbelt, we have to go back and fetch them.
No, we can't go back now. Do you want to run directly into the creature's claws? We have to find the fairy scholar. He will help us, and then we can fetch Mrs. Greenbald and the rest.
Miss Greenbelt?
O, teraz zrobiła się smutna.
Don't you want to help Nuri, good Sir Knight Rathling?
Oh my.
What's wrong with her?
She's sad that we can't go on.
What can I do for you, Nuri?
Miss Greenbelt.
How can I help?
Rycerski rysztunek, rycerz kupuje rzeczy, dukat za konia. Rycerz kupuje rzeczy?
Can't you buy the gear for us from Graham? You'd get our horse and everybody would be...
By no means. I'll never do business with that old cheapskate again. He's not honestly asking a ducat for some gear. Bah.
Why don't you give us part of your gear in exchange for the horse?
What's the big idea, my boy? A traveling knight is carrying less than he needs as it is. Besides, none of my items are made for someone your size.
No dobrze, weźmiemy tego dukata za konia.
Please help us out with 1 ducat, good Sir Knight. Half a ducat for the horse and half a ducat to make Nuri smile again.
Dobra.
I think you've got me, my boy. No gold in the world is spent in vain if it makes beauty smile again. Here you go.
I thank you, good knight.
So we can travel soon?
Yes,
And Miss Greenbelt won't have to wait much longer.
Yes, that's the spirit, my girl. Say, don't you want to stay with me after all?
not on your life.
Okej. Dobra, mamy naszego dukata, ale musimy zrobić coś z tym flakonikiem.
Wonberries. Their bitter blue juice has healing properties.
O, niebieski ten.
Out of
barwny.
reach.
Gdzie jest nasz kruk? Wyślemy go.
Raven?
Swoją drogą kolejna gra, w której wysyłamy kruka po coś. No nie? No, smutne nify. O, zapytajmy jeszcze o
Nuri
to.
thinks that the seer's creatures were wicked fairies. How come he's got such a strong relation to fairies?
You're barking up the wrong tree.
Does he plan to make her a wicked fairy as well?
Possibly.
Do you see the flower box at the dwarf's house up there?
I see him.
There are wandberries in there. Can you fly up there and get me some?
Do you need a healing remedy? Are you injured?
Nie.
No, but they are great for wounds. We should be prepared for all possibilities on our journey.
All right then.
No tak naprawdę do czegoś innego ich wykorzystamy, no ale... Cóż, Geron i tak chciał skłamać.
Their bitter blue juice has... I'll have to...
Co?
I'll have to squeeze the berries somehow.
Aha, utrzeć. Nie możesz ich
Maybe I can
wsadzić?
mix my own blue beard tonic. I'll have to squeeze the berries somehow.
A może jeszcze coś zostawiliśmy tu? Co by się nam przydało? A, poczekajcie, pomogę się trochę. Nie, tylko... A, właśnie.
I'll just take it all.
Wiedziałam, że coś pominę. Jakieś wieczko.
The lid makes a perfect bowl. I should keep it.
Mówię to z tym.
Now all I have to do is squeeze the berries.
Pałeczką?
How do I fill it?
Nie możesz tak po prostu?
Good old Garatian Bluebeard dye.
Idealnie.
Good old Garat...
Dobra. Wychodzimy. I pogadajmy z Gramem.
What do you want?
Dobra. Najpierw
Here's the
rzeczy.
money for the gear.
Wonderful. Here's your stuff. It's exceptional quality. Good value, too.
I sure hope so, dwarf.
I'll give you some advice for free. When you go into the blood barrier, you'd better not burden yourself with too much stuff. You'll feel every ounce in your bones up in the mountains.
Yes, I know that.
Okej. I zaproponujemy tę miksturę na brodę.
I have some beard tonic for you if you tell me.
I don't need your cheap hair tonic. I have my good old Jenner Creek Blue Shine Beard Dye.
Ej, no.
Where is the fairy scholar, pray tell?
Do you have anything? In that case,
I'll leave you to it then.
Musimy mu rozbić ten flakonik, żeby on wziął chyba od nas. Wow, ile mamy rzeczy.
That must be 100 years old. Finally, I don't have to rub wooden sticks together to make fire anymore.
Krzemień i chłupka. Bukłak
The
na wodę.
smallest and most expensive water bladder of the north. The dwarf must have rubbed it down with stale fat. At least we won't freeze in the mountains.
Okej. Spróbujmy rozbić.
what? No! By Angrosh and all the beard critters, my beautiful Jenner Creek Blue Shine beard dye. Who did that?
Perhaps Angrosh himself has punished you for your vanity, Sir Dwarf.
What will my beard have to say to that?
No nie będzie zachwycona chyba.
Smells like juniper berries. How could that happen?
Whoever it was, my revenge will crush them.
Tak, tak. Na pewno się dowiesz, kto to zrobił.
What do you want?
Can you make use of this Garatian beard tonic? I'll give it to you for some information.
Let's see it. Garetian? I guess this will have to make do until I can get my hands on the real stuff again. So, what do you want to know?
Miejsce pobytu Góry Thasch. Miejsce pobytu.
Where exactly has the scholar gone?
He babbled something about a cave to the north of a big orc statue, near a red lake. He couldn't wait to get there. His imp had made a mess of my whole shop.
Okej. Góry Thasch.
When did the fairy scholar pass through here?
That must have been a month ago. Wanted to stay the winter in the blood barrier. I called him crazy. All his imp had for me was a dirty laugh.
Jakiś chochlik.
What is an imp doing with a fairy scholar?
How the hell should I know? That was an unholy, uninhibited, nasty little imp. Ugly and mean. My shop still reeks of his foul mouth.
Oj tam. Może nie był taki zły wcale. Tylko ty na wszystko narzekasz oczywiście.
How do we get to this cave?
First you travel north, through the Screech Owl Forest, or better yet, past Bloodthorn Hollow. Oh, never
Super.
mind. I'll show you on the map.
Why, thank you, Master Dwarf.
Jej. Bardzo ładnie. Mamy wszystko na mapie, zaznaczone, bardzo pięknie. No to ruszamy. Chyba, że
She
jeszcze...
seems to have
jeszcze pogadamy z Nuri.
Listen,
Nie.
let's carry on later.
Już nic więcej, ale możemy ruszać.
Come on, Nuri. Let's move on.
Come along, Raven.
The blood barrier. Most impassable of all mountain ranges. What in the name of all 12 gods had made the fairy scholar come here? There wasn't a single danger that didn't lurk here. Into what kind of barren land had he brought Nuri? The orcs called these mountains Gravish's Claws. And of all the black furs, the most horrible tribe called this its home. They took their captured prisoners to the caves of Orakar and hunted them to death. That's what was said of the bloodthirsty Zolochai. And the path led straight through their camp.
O, jak miło. Poznajemy orków.
Nuri, come over here into the shadows. They can't see us here. That's a whole camp of orcs. If they find us, we're dead.
Raven!
Go on, report.
And craw a little less loudly, if you will.
The Red Lake is behind this ridge, but the orcs are everywhere. They are here to perform a ritual. It will take days for them to finish it and leave.
No Red Lake, then?
Nonsense. We haven't journeyed through the blood barrier for days just to turn back now.
You want to save the fairy, yet you risk her death. I thought Nuri could trust you. But you're doing exactly what Gwynling asked you to.
Don't worry, Raven. Garen knows exactly what to do. Don't you, Garen?
Of course I do. I'll get you to the fairy scholar in one piece. This
Fana,
can't
tak
be
słodko.
true. The orcs will rip us apart.
You'd better hurry.
Dobra, damy radę. Dobra, oni sobie tu będą przygadywać w międzyczasie w ich swoim własnym pięknym języku. W każdym razie mnie zastanawia, że właściwie w takich górach i po takich szczytach, jak się wspinali, to Nuri nadal boso i że nie poraniła sobie nóg w ogóle. Dziwne, że Garon w ogóle nie kupił jakichś butów w tym sklepie. Coś nam zniknęło. Czy mi się wydaje? Coś mieliśmy więcej? Nie wiem. Dobra, zobaczmy. Dziennik. Na krwawych turniach. Czy ja naprawdę sprowadzam nieszczęście? Te stworzenia zabiły lalkarkę. No już nie przeżywaj tak. W ostatniej chwili zdołaliśmy umknąć im jej wozem. Teraz rozpościerają się przed nami krwawe turnie, a my nie mamy ani sprzętu, ani też żadnego pojęcia, jak odnaleźć medicę. No ale już macie pojęcie. Wcześniej tego nie było chyba. Trochę z opóźnieniem wydaje mi się, że te wpisy się tu pojawiają. Dobrze, w każdym razie my będziemy już kończyć te odcinki na dzisiaj. Następnym razem będziemy się przebijać właśnie przez krwawe turnie do tego szkarłatnego jeziora. Będzie tu kilka zabaw z orkami, że tak powiem. Ale to już następnym razem, także dziękuję Wam bardzo za obejrzenie tego odcinka. Mam nadzieję, że Wam się podobało. No i do usłyszenia w kolejnych z The Dark Eye Klątwy Wron. Cześć!